there's just this kind of dearth, I think, of people that are willing to, you know, put their money where their mouth is. And you say you're supporting creatives, you're supporting emerging artists. No, you're supporting emerging artists at fees that quite often are poached. I will say that. There is one particular gallery that I think I will be talking about with a guest next week who has poached an artist post freeze, depending on whether the gallerist wants to talk about that or not. That'd be fun. But you know, it all kind of becomes this sort of like repetitive motion of we're doing X, Y, Z, and then the money just does not follow that at all. And, you know, there are galleries that do that as well. One gallery that has closed recently who was kind of the very, I would say, epitome of kind of using social progressive language and press releases and then actually doing the complete opposite. And I think we see a lot of that, yes, in galleries, but also in collectors and also in sponsors. And I think the more people accept that money is a very important part of the ecosystem and use it accordingly to make sure that people are being supported, artists are being supported, the better art's going to come out of it. And truly, that's what matters.
Exactly. Yeah, I think there's just a general lack of, general lack of funding, general lack of know-how what to do with the funding as well. I think because it is such an unregulated industry, like, there aren't these necessarily structures in place unless you follow the structures that are already in place. Yeah. So I think it's a weird, like, Wild West. That's the way I would approach the art world. Like, it feels like an absolute minefield when you burst into
100%.
it. Like, there's so many different strands of things going on that you're just kind of like, what is going on? And suddenly you start to make sense. But making sense is a luxury to be able to do it in a way where you can have time to be able to make sense of it. Like, I was able to do it because I lied about my age and bounced it around my studies, X, Y, and Z, but there is no real, I mean, you have like courses in curation and arts management, but outside of that, like, what?
I mean, I have a master's in the art market and I still know what the hell's going on half the time. And I got a good grade, you know, I wasn't stupid. I really did, I put in the hours, but I still, you know, I'll read these reports, I'm like, Christ, how does that happen?
Exactly, and this is why I think even like apprenticeships, like internships, like paid internships really need to be studied. Like apprenticeships, to be honest, like get away from internships because in my opinion, they can just be excuses to have someone unpaid for 6 months and kick them off. Yeah, oh yeah, you might get a job at the end. Well, what?
Yeah.
Give you 6 months for maybe.
No, it means nothing.
So I think actual structured apprenticeships, perhaps working with some of the arts unis, but also local colleges, like small local colleges that are in the London boroughs that have people who maybe wouldn't have an access into the arts, but have a new way of thinking, a different way of thinking that maybe don't come from, you know, this background or that background, but are able to come at it from a place where they didn't necessarily have to fit in. So they've just done what they, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you have advice for those people? Like if someone might be listening who's thinking like, oh, this might be me, what would your advice be?
So it's so interesting. Like I've done literally like uni master classes for like an hour and a half to like art students, just telling them that like, you really just need to get out and go and make it your own. And I know that's such a like, you need to go and get your thing, but like it's really real. Like I'm not saying, you know, yeah, you're going to be able to smash it and you're going to get a job in 2 weeks. No, not at all. But you just need to get out there and see what's happening. And by getting out there, that's going to some of these private views, going to some of these events, and I would literally used to spend 20 minutes on like alleviating people's anxieties to be like, 80% of the people at a PV are there because they're going to post it on their Instagram, they're going to get a free drink, they're going to maybe see a friend or two or talk, they're going to go outside, have a cigarette, then they're going to go to the next one. And they're going to do that every week for multiple weeks or multiple months, however long they're in the arts. You as a student, as a person who's looking to get into the arts, is looking for valuable education, experience, insights, conversations that are actually going to allow you to develop your career and get you into more of these places. So if anything, these events are more rightful for you as a learner and as a student and as someone who wants to break into the industry than someone like me, you, because like we just go because of the thing that we do.
No.
Whereas we're not thinking, I don't even think a lot of us are, but maybe there are some, but I've never once looked at people in a PV and been like, why are you here or why are they there?
Not a million years.
It's just...
And what's so silly is that, you know, it took me, I've been doing this for 8 years, but it took me maybe about a year to stop getting butterflies. Just going to a PV by myself.
At first, like as you're just walking in the door and you're seeing the crowd of people.
And you're just like, am I cool enough to be here? Am I smart enough? Do I know enough? Of course you do.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, so what? So what?
Yeah,
Look at the art, have a think about the art, have a drink if you like, you know, or go up to someone, talk to them. I mean, it really
Can
it
I
is.
tell you one game that I do? Now,
you?
to still make me look interested at a PV, if I've walked in and I'm like, I absolutely hate this, like everyone's like, it's like a crowd full of people that are just really annoying and whatever, I will just like, instead of having to pretend I'm enjoying it, I just go around each piece and I'm like, what movie does this remind me of?
I love that.
And that makes you're walking with a glass of wine, you're like, In your head, you're going like Avatar 2. But, you know, to the outside, you're like, oh, what is that? Is that a bit of a Rothko? That's what it looks like. So if I'm not, but obviously you don't want to just walk in and walk straight away. One of my games is, what movie does it remind me of?
That's
And that just keeps me
perfect.
there. And then also you're looking intent. So people then come up to you and they're like, oh, what do you see in this? And it's like,
Avatar 2.
Avengers, mate.
Avatar 2.
So different. But one thing I really need to shout out, which I don't think he gets enough credit, Mr. Sebastian of Seb's Art List on
we
Instagram.
love you. We miss you.
I recommend this account to so many people. So if you're like an artist, creative, someone who's just genuinely wanting to get into the industry, get Seb's Art List on Instagram. He posts like an absolute saint, probably about 3 days a week, all the different openings, the events that are happening across the city. And it is one of the ways in which I have been able to just stay on top of things. Although we obviously know there's certain weeks of the calendar that are going to be for these galleries, whatever. It still just really helps having
It's
an entire diary of
fantastic
everything.
resource.
So it's not even just people like us that use it, but now I've passed it to like students, people who
God,
are
yeah.
just wanting to go into arts events. Because yes, there may be a bouncer, there may be someone stood outside the door. You can literally
You can
just
just go
walk
in.
in. You can literally just walk in. If you go to the bouncer and you're like, can I come in? They're going to be like, huh? And you still will be allowed in, but like you just go in.
You fake it until you make it, I think, is a really important part of the art world, because the whole thing, I mean,
Massive.
the ethical core of contemporary art is assigning value depending on whoever is watching, whatever is being looked at. And that extends to the actual physical actions that you take within that world. Yes, the philosophical, the theoretical actions, whatever. But also, if you feel like you want to go to a PV, just go to a PV. You know, it's a feature, not a bug of the art world, that you're meant to feel slightly intimidated, you're meant to feel slightly alienated, that this is meant to be something that's completely sort of out of reach, out of range, philosophically, financially. But if you just treat it like it's not,
Yeah,
And it's
and
not.
also this
And
is
it's
your
not.
terrain. Like you've been given this information by Seb's Art List, whoever. Like these are the events you can go to. You can go to them. Like you really can. I think. Luckily, like I did have the anxiety a little bit, but I was always just like, okay, if this is happening, I'm gonna go. I'll just see what's happening and get my own kind of education understanding, and like just treat it like you can spend 5-10 minutes a month.